What do you think happens when you sell your first screenplay? Do you imagine flowing champagne, confetti falling from the sky, red carpets, awards, or maybe a producer shaking your hand while handing you a check with lots of zeros? That's what I imagine. And sure, parts of that did come true, I won't lie. Getting that first sale felt incredible, especially as it was so unexpected when it actually happened. But the thing was this, I didn't realize how much I didn't know. You see, selling your first screenplay, it's not the end of the journey. It's the beginning of a much bigger, more complex game. A game no one really tells you about until you're already in it. And the rules, they aren't written anywhere. That's the problem. You have to figure them out for yourself as you go, or if you're lucky, you get someone like me making a video about it on YouTube. In this video, I'm going to tell you everything I wish someone had told me before I sold my first script. I'm talking about the mindset shifts, the mistakes I made, and the lessons I had to learn the hard way, so you don't have to. First, I'll take you through the story of how I sold that first script, what worked, what didn't, and why it felt like both a breakthrough and a reality check at the same time. Then I'll dive into the lessons that completely changed how I approach screenwriting as an addition to my career, not just a one-off hustle or the everything in my filmmaking journey. You're going to learn why simplicity trumps complexity, why your script is actually an ad, not a novel, and why selling a screenplay doesn't guarantee anything beyond the paycheck. And finally, I'll share the system I use today that's helped me sell more scripts consistently and sustainably. Are you ready to begin? So I was fresh out of university, and honestly, I didn't even think of myself as a screenwriter. My goal was to be a director. Writing scripts was a means to an end. It was a way to create something I could eventually direct. I did that, made the movie, went to festivals, then silence. No money, no big agencies calling, nothing. Then randomly, I got a message from a guy who'd seen my work online. This was I think it was the early 2000s. So the internet wasn't what it is today. I met him. He told me he had an idea for a feature and we made a deal that he'd pay me to write it. The deal was for £5,000. Now, listen, my first film cost £7,000. This felt like I'd won the lottery. I was 25 and was getting paid to do something I do for free. This is where lesson number 1 came into play. Writing for someone else is a completely different beast. Until then, I'd only written for myself. I controlled the story. I called the shots. Now, my script wasn't mine anymore. It was his, the buyer. Here's the first thing you need to understand. Screenwriting isn't just an art, it's a business. That producer isn't buying my story because he loves the art of it. He's buying a product he can sell, or at least believes he can sell. And that's the mindset shift I wish someone had drilled into me from day one. When you're writing to sell, you're not just creating a story, you're solving a problem. And the problem is this: does your script have what it takes to attract an audience? Will it make money? I'm not saying you should write with this at the forefront of your mind, of course not. I actually tell people not to think about money when they write. However, if you set up your process the way I do, with strong ideation and outlining, it is automatically going to be a viable product. The next lesson I learned after selling my first screenplay seems obvious now, but it wasn't then. Do not overcomplicate things. Simple narratives that people can follow is usually safer for new and aspiring writers than complex narratives. I can illustrate this. After that first sale, I started working on another screenplay. It was an action drama. I thought, this is my chance to show everyone what I can really do. I'm in the big leagues now. And of course, I overcomplicated things. I layered in subplots, clever dialogue, intricate backstories, everything I thought would make it stand out. It didn't. No one cared. It's too dense. I don't get it. Who's the audience? Those were some of the things I heard. At first, I was defensive, obviously. They just don't understand my genius, I thought. But then I read my own script that I'd sold, and what I'd done in it by accident hit me. The script wasn't the most complex, even though it dealt with a complex story. It was character focused, and therefore it resonated. When I rewrote my new screenplay, I stripped everything down to its essence. I focused on creating characters people could connect with and a story that was clear and emotionally grounded. And you know what? That rewrite sold. I was 2-0 and off to the races as a screenwriter. Now, I want to actually rephrase something so you don't misunderstand what I'm actually saying. It isn't so much that your screenplay needs to lack complexity. No, It can be very complicated. What matters is that it must be clear. Clarity creates connection and connection sells. That leads me on to the third lesson I learned. When you're writing a script, you're not writing literature. You're writing a pitch. The people reading your script aren't lounging by the fire with a cup of tea savoring every word. They're often skimming it on their phones between meetings or on a train ride home while being distracted by all manner of things. That means your job is to grab their attention immediately. Forget long setups, flowery descriptions, or self-indulgent dialogue. Every scene, every line, every word needs to serve the story. If it doesn't move the plot forward, it doesn't belong. Start strong, keep moving, and cut the fluff. Treat your script like the highlight reel version of a good novel. Yes, it has depth, but you only write what absolutely needs to be on screen to progress the story. Nothing else matters. Nothing. The final lesson is the one that's the most difficult to accept, but the one that you must. Selling your script is no guarantee it will ever get made, and that should not ever be your concern if you want to succeed as a screenwriter. After that first sale, I assumed my script would turn into a movie. I mean, why else would they buy it? But here's the reality. Most scripts that sell never get made. Studios and producers buy scripts all the time just to shelve them. It's frustrating, yes, I understand that, but here's what I've learned. Your job is to write the best script you can, get paid, and move on to the next one. The more you write, the better your chances of having something actually get made, but your focus is getting the buyer what they want. They can then worry about producing the movie or TV show, but you can't let that slow you down. Now, with all these lessons, I realized I needed a system. Selling one script was great, but I didn't want to leave things to chance. I wanted consistency. So I developed a framework, a repeatable process for generating ideas, writing scripts, and pitching them in a way that maximized the potential for sales. This framework works. It has helped me sell 15 original scripts in 10 years, and it's something you can learn too. If you're serious about turning screenwriting into a career and you want to learn my framework, this video will give you all the information you need.